Welcome to the Kindness Alliance. I'm your host, Debra Lee Fader, the Queen of Kindness. And I have with me a very wonderful part of the Queen of Kindness. Her name is Ruth Ann Lee, and she has the Hollywood on Main theater that we perform in and that we will be having our live television shows in the future. It's going to be a fantastic venue for us, and Ruth Ann Lee, I'm so glad you can be with us today. So tell us a little bit about the Hollywood on Main. It's such of a beautiful place. You've totally renovated it, but explain the story about the Hollywood on Main.
There's a lot of history to the place, and Debra Lee graces it every time she comes in the door. We love to have her on the stage. Way back in the 1937 was actually when the Hollywood was built, and it was quite the luxury theater, holding 711 theater seats. And teddy bear brown was one of the prominent colors used in the seating. It had two tunnels going from the basement to the stage area, and those had water in them and fans blowing to create probably the original air conditioning. So it was quite ahead of its time here, and people would line up for blocks for the latest in the movies, and we were very blessed to have people running the theater that did many more things with it. We had crowned Valentine sweethearts yearly here, and they'd have Battle of the Bands, and it was coincided with the Starlight Outdoor Movie Theater, where some of the same things would perform out there as well. A lot of fun history here, and right now having the kids from the high schools down here to practice for plays and things, it's just fun to see their interest, and they get such a charge out of it that my husband and I had our first date here when it was a movie theater.
That is so wonderful. You and your husband, Jerry Lee, didn't you also have your wedding reception here, or am I mistaken on that?
We did not have it here, but Jerry Ross had a big part in it. He let us use his Winnebago, and he was our chauffeur and drove the wedding party from the little Zion church in the country to the Hunt Hotel, where we had all 3 floors. And so I had to have 3 punch pours. And I don't recall what condition the Hollywood was in at that time, but it wasn't an option for us to do the wedding dance here.
And tell us what happened to the Hollywood. At one point, it was a staple all over the central Minnesota as a great theater to go see first-run movies, everything from Hollywood from top to toe. It was just a beautiful place. And then what happened?
And eventually there got to be too many holes in the roof, and first they would rope off about the first 7 rows to keep you from sitting where the rain was coming in quite pronounced. And eventually they had to close it. And from there on in, we had trees growing inside. Oh. And in about 1999, there were 10 businessmen that went together and thought it would be great to at least salvage the old Hollywood up and down sign, and sold light bulbs at $20 a piece to raise money to salvage that sign. And after that amazing feat was performed, they wondered, well, how about salvaging the whole building instead of tearing it down? Because I can't envision tearing down such a staple building with businesses on either side of it that would have been adversely affected by its removal.
Yeah.
So they all went together and decided to do an event center out of it. And pretty soon discovered that 10 people were too many decision makers in the process, so Jerry Ross bought out the other partners and would operate it as a venue for wedding receptions, and would have catering and alcohol, and rented out for those events.
And that was the beginning of your interest in wanting to purchase the place from Jerry Ross before he passed on. And you did. And we are so grateful as the town and citizens of Montevideo that you have made this into such of an icon all over again. And your Hollywood sign is one of the first things you see on Main Street. And it looks beautiful during the daytime, and it looks beautiful at night, of course. And you also have an LED sign for the daytime that works in the daytime and advertises different businesses and our different nonprofits that you and I are both involved in together, Diversity USA and also queenofkindness.org. So we try to fill this place. Of course, it's full of love, and we try to fill it with charitable goods and bring people from all over the area in central Minnesota to your beautiful theater so that they can give during the holiday season. We have a Hometown Heroes show that we do, and this is just it's home. It's home. It's home for me.
and all the coats and items for the food shelf were greatly appreciated that came in this year, and they have all gone to much needed folks.
Thank God for that. And we are really blessed to have this beautiful building and be able to create so many great memories. We started our show that we do always on the first Friday of December. We started that back in 2011, and we've been doing the show ever since. And so this year, we had a couple of different things that took place. We had COVID, and that kind of shut us down there for a little while. But we did have our 13th annual show this past December, and it was really fun. And it was a good show, and like you said, we gathered an awful lot of good charity for the people that really need it the most in the area.
Right.
So, so tell us a little bit more about why you wanted to buy the place.
Well, actually, it was after Jerry had passed. I was working for Jerry Ross doing bookings for weddings and things, and when he passed away, then his family put the building up for sale. And there weren't any buyers coming forth, and I asked my husband, I said, what do you think? And he says, you can try it. So I'm still trying.
Well, you're doing a great job. And just look at all the things that have taken place in here that God has had a hand in bringing to life.
Right.
So tell us about the other events you have had.
Yeah, we have expanded a great deal from actually having an auction event here, and we've had a number of funerals, celebrations of life, the weddings, the quinceañeras. It's just, meetings of different companies. The one company booked it for a daily meeting and turned it into 3 days because they loved the space and the privacy, and so it's just fun to see what all it can become.
And it is just beautiful. And when people step in, when they finally take the time to step in and see this place, they have all sorts of ideas of what else you can do with it and what they would like to do. So they book time in here for their events. And that is just great. And another thing you've had are the interdenominational prayer services that you and I have both been a part of, and we've had a beautiful cross that was made by your husband, and we put it in the center of the stage, and we had a lot of beautiful singers and dancers, performers, and we had a couple of different pastors that have given sermons for those events. Right. And we usually do that around Fiesta Days, which is the annual fiesta event here in Montevideo. Montevideo, Minnesota is all about Uruguay and our Montevideo, Minnesota being sister cities since 1904 with Montevideo, Uruguay. So that's well over 100 years. In
Right.
fact, I think it's 121 or something like that at this point. So
It's a wonderful sister relationship between the cities.
yes, and for me it was always exciting when I was mayor here because my first choice to do anything in town was always at the Hollywood, and that'll never change. Never change.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now, how many people does the theater hold for a show?
It all depends on how people like to arrange the seating. We can hold much less if we're going to do tables and chairs, but if it were all chairs, we could probably do better than 400 strictly chairs.
And we've done that before with our
Right,
show.
yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
What I like is the back balconies. You have 3 tiers that people can sit at, and actually if they wanted to eat something they could because there's a beautiful table in the front. And then we have booths in the
Right.
back where very close to where the old
Projection
room was. Right. So it's very exciting. All
Yeah.
of the different places all the different things you can do to make this venue work for you. And there is a dance floor. I love that.
You bet.
And a stage, a beautiful stage.
And a disco ball.
And a disco ball. And a couple of chandeliers as
Yes.
well. Beautiful crystal chandeliers. And I'll have the opportunity to sing on your stage today so people can see it. And we're looking forward to that. So with the
Always
lobby,
fun.
Oh, it is always fun. And Ruth Ann and I have the best relationship. We're sisters from different mothers, but we're the Lee sisters, and we travel that way. And people ask us all the time, "Are you sisters?" And so
Close enough.
we say yes. We're the Lee sisters. And we don't want to burst anybody's bubble. And even my own sister says, "You two are sisters." So it's just a wonderful feeling. I'm so glad that you're with us today and can tell us some more things about it. Tell us about the nice parties you've had as a Lee family here. I think that is pretty exciting.
We often have our Lee Christmases here. I refer to them as the Lee Rebellion, but we have a good time and fill up the stage for a family photo. And it's a great place for the kids to work with board games and play some bingo and watch some of our videos from years gone by on the TV screen, which is in the auditorium as well. And my son even gets figured out how to watch NDSU football games on it.
Oh, that's so good.
Yes.
I remember calling you one night and you said, "Oh, we're watching the NDSU," and wasn't it South Dakota with North Dakota
Right.
that night?
Yeah, so we had friends that were from the opposing team as well. And
It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
So you can find Ruth Ann Lee on Facebook. She also has a website and tells about that. You'll see her all throughout the websites we have for Diversity USA and also Queen of Kindness. We've got the map there so that you can find the place. I think that what we're trying to do with the Hollywood now, as well as Main Street in Montevideo, is make this a destination place for people to come to. We're going to be putting in some bus tours, and people just come down here anyway just to see the theater because they've heard so much about it. So it already is a destination point for people when they're traveling in Minnesota. And there's also what is it, the Auto Road, I want to say Route 66, but it's not Route 66.
Yellowstone Trail.
Yellowstone Trail, thank you so much. But it's like, it was the first trail, Yellowstone Trail, that people could go from state to state across to get to where it would be the Teddy Roosevelt National Parks, all around North Dakota, the South Dakota area, and all over Minnesota, and then that, I think it started in Chicago or something, or definitely in Wisconsin, for sure. I'm not really sure how long that Yellowstone Trail is, but it's akin to going across the Route 66.
Yeah,
so
just a little further north.
Yeah, just a little further north, but you've got plenty of places and sightseeing
Right.
to take in, and places to eat, and places to stay. So we're a part of that tradition too here with the Hollywood. So
And the new Arrow publication is so helpful in bringing out more information about the Yellowstone Trail and featuring each of the towns along the trail.
and it's a beautiful newspaper. So
Right.
I'm really glad that we're doing that. We have a wonderful editor for that, and his name is Scott Tedrick. We'll have him here one day on our show as well. And we have many beautiful acts that will be coming through here and being on our shows, because they're very diverse, they're very cultural, and from different cultures all over the world. So we have a wonderful act which is for boys. Actually, I should call them young men at this point, but they sing, and they sing like I don't know, the Letterman or something. They're just
acapella.
Acapella, it's fabulous. They're from Micronesia. We have a huge Micronesian clan, I guess you could say, here in Milan, Minnesota. And then we have, of course, the Indian tribes that are here. The Yellow Medicine Dakota are here, and we have the different people that are artists, such as Leo Baker and his children. We'll have them come on to do a spiritual set for us of music and drums. And we will be having Morgan Ironheart come through our doors for a wonderful interview. And there'll be so many other people that we know that are of different races and religions. And that's what we're going to be about, trying to show you all of the people that are in our area, and stress that you need to be kind to other people, because you never know what they're going through in their day-to-day. And that is what we're going to be bringing to Preach the Word Worldwide Network TV. So I want to thank you, Ruth Ann, for being with us. Is there anything else you want to say before we go into our quotations?
Just thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You are the best. Well, we have some. Ruth Ann has a Bible quotation that is her favorite, so we'll start out with that first.
Okay.
So,
My favorite verse is from Proverbs 3, verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy paths, which I think is so fitting with Debra Lee's book title.
Oh, yes. We've got Walk by Faith, which is my current book. It's a memoir. It's the story of my life. It's kind of like it starts out kind of a rags to riches story, but then it turns out to be more than that, because I was an entertainer for many years all over the world, and I just became tired of singing without acknowledging or praising God. And so at one point, and this was in the 90s, I got off the stage and I said, "Dear God, I'm finding no personal happiness for myself. It hurts me to sing because I'm not singing about you. And so I want to make a different change in my life." And I left, on time. I didn't just take off and leave the show. But I left the show, and I chose not to. When my contract was done, I chose not to continue a contract, and came back to Minnesota, where I am from, and went into broadcasting. My first broadcasting job was in Montevideo, Minnesota, where we are. And I met my husband, and my whole trajectory of my life completely changed. And at that point, I was singing in churches, and I couldn't believe when I was hired to be a worship director that I could actually be paid and sing for God. It just never dawned on me that I could do something like that without having to do all these big production shows. So it just, my whole life changed. Everything was going great. People were saying, oh, you have such a charmed life, you and your family and your husband and his family. And one day in 2006, I woke up, I went to get out of bed, I fell to my knees, and then I fell on the floor right on my face, and I could not move. And I spent several years with an undiagnosed condition, in and out of wheelchairs, not being able to regain full motion of my body. And eventually, when you read the story, you'll see how God helped me and how the rest of my life has turned out. But it was a struggle. But God will put you on your right path, as you were saying. So, and if you have a compass, with God as your compass, the path just becomes more straight when you're searching and seeking God's face. And then you just don't have all of those windy roads in your life anymore. So that's what my story's about. So, and you can find my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or on my own website, which is DebraLeeFader.com. So right now, though, we want to tell you about, this is one of our little gifts that we sell. It's called 101 Blessings to Brighten Your Day and Uplift Your Soul. So I'm going to have Ruth Ann pull one out, whatever she wants. It's like a deck of cards. Whoops. And then she'll read it, what the Proverbs are, and read what the back says too. So what the biblical interpretation is.
Grace be yours, grace and peace be yours in abundance.
Well, that's pretty exciting. You had a good one. Okay, I'll just try to find one in here and then we'll be done with this. But I just think it's really neat to have these sayings. And if you'd like to buy one, you can't find these little boxes of blessings anywhere, you can sure go onto our website, DebraLeeFader.com, and you'll be able to find it. So the one I have here is from Deuteronomy. I can read that. 7:13. The Lord will love you and bless you. And if that isn't a truer statement, I don't know. And it says in the back, you will fill my life with joyful moments. And so these are two blessings that you can have. And you can take a look at these early in the morning or late at night or any time in the day when you feel like you need just a little boost. God's little boost, little blessing, and share it with children and share it with everybody in your family. So it's just a fun thing, and that's all I know about it. So they're called 101 Blessings. And Ruth Ann, anything else you want to tell us before we take off and go into your beautiful theater and I sing a song?
No, just hope you're enjoying the broadcast that Debra Lee brings you, and
God bless.
We appreciate so much her doing this and benefiting the community and everybody around.
Thank you, because we all need to be community driven. We all need to fill each other's souls with kindness. And if you're interested in joining our Kindness Alliance, you can check us out on queenofkindness.org. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thanks, Ruth Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil.